The Kaye Dee and Motormouth Radio Show. We're on top of the world. On RadioDNANetwork.com and WEOM 103.1 FM.
Hi, everybody. This is Kaye Dee.
And this is Motormouth.
And you know we had to come back and update about the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman case. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot that's going on right there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think nobody was too. I mean, I guess some people was pleased with the verdict, and then there was many, as I said, was unpleased. I think there was more people unpleased with the verdict than there were with the verdict.
Yeah. Me personally, I was a little surprised. I really wasn't like overly emotional about it like a lot of people were, but I was surprised that there was actually no time that had to be served. None. Manslaughter, nothing. Murder, first degree, second degree, manslaughter, just nothing. Walk out the courtroom, you're free. I was a little surprised at that. What about you, Motormouth?
Very much surprised. You know, it was something I didn't expect to hear or come out. But then again, in a way, I guess I say I was surprised that I was right, that I thought he was going to walk away. And the reason why I say that, the whole scenario from the beginning was just strange. The judge didn't allow any, say, character reference to George Zimmerman to be used by the prosecution. Then the way she threw out the things about the voices, talking about it wasn't, they claiming that it wasn't long enough, and I just couldn't see that when, just take an example of recalling President Bush when 9/11 happened, and the first thing he did with 9/11 was make it be that your voice became your identity over your Social Security number. So if they're going to make your voice become your identity reference, then I'm quite sure that they knew how to
analyze and really determine whose voice was on the tape.
Exactly. And then as I mentioned to you earlier in some of our conversation, if it was that short, then just loop it.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, with today's technology, there's too much, to go on. And then I just say that, from not only from her beginning of the judge stuff, but just for how long they took him to arresting.
Yeah, that's true.
The 6 weeks. I mean, there's many things I think that was hidden underneath there, especially in Florida, that I just feel like this here. It's hard for black people, especially in Florida, Georgia, and a couple other states.
Georgia, Florida, Carolina, the southern states. Let's break it on
for
down.
them to get justice, some good justice. I mean, all the way around, because every time I think about Florida, for some reason, I think of Rosewood. And, anytime I'm traveling in Florida, I always have Rosewood in the back of my mind because of what happened to those black folks with their town and community, the jealousy of the white people doing the thing. But, I really don't want to make it be, like I'm trying to say anything racial, about anything, when the whole thing with Trayvon Martin, with the profiling, it was racial. And they wasn't even to submit that as part of the procedure. And I don't understand how they're going to jump in the middle of a situation of a killing and not take what led up to it into consideration.
Exactly. That, to me, that paints the whole picture.
Yeah,
I don't understand, and I'm not trying to bring race into it either, but let's keep it real. You have to bring race into this situation as far as I'm concerned. There's no way you can't.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee there's no one on this planet that could convince me that had Trayvon Martin been a young 17-year-old white male in a gated community in Florida or any other city in the United States, to be honest with you, I honestly doubt that he would have been followed, because let's keep it real. It would be different if Trayvon Martin had been seen, hauling a TV out of somebody's window, or accosting someone on the street corner, robbing someone, selling drugs, everything else that, comes to mind when people want to racially peg a certain people, my people, black people, into a corner. Let's keep it real.
Right.
But I honestly think had Zimmerman been not Zimmerman, had Trayvon Martin been a 17-year-old Caucasian, a white young male, that it would have been a whole different ball game. And had George Zimmerman had been any other color other than, well, let's keep it real. Okay. If Trayvon Martin had been white and Zimmerman had been black and the teenager ended up dead, what do you think would have happened? It would have been a whole different ball game from day one. That's just my opinion. I don't even think he would have even made bail. He wouldn't have been walking around. It wouldn't have taken him a couple of weeks to get him in. Oh, no. And the trial probably would have been over in, 5 minutes?
Yeah,
I mean, seriously.
right. Well,
His butt would have never seen daylight ever again. You hear me?
mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion.
But then again too, the Zimmerman case is a little bit more different to me than just saying a white boy, a white man, or however you want to consider it. When you look at his racial background of being mixed.
Okay,
but
cool.
with his father being a judge
Retired
and being a white
judge.
man.
Retired
okay,
judge.
Retired judge. However, I say a judge is a judge, but I understand what you mean by retired. But I'm just trying to say profiling on his father image, because they really pretty much kept his mother out of it until, if you want to say, they did the voice analysis about whose scream it was, the voice her against him, and then through the whole procedure of the court thing, I didn't hear his father being mentioned one time in the news or anything. I didn't follow, live on television or, C-SPAN or whoever, was showing it. But his father wasn't mentioned any times through anything. It was his mother and I think his brother or somebody else in the family.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, a lot of it had to do with his father.
His father was in the courtroom. Well, they showed him in the courtroom when they read the verdict.
Yeah, he might have been in the courtroom the whole time,
right.
But, they didn't make him be
didn't highlight it.
Right, because of what he did at the beginning of this thing, right about the time they arrested him. He was very verbal.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, just.
Well, why? Because had he maintained a certain level of being, openly involved in the case, then it would have come across as straight favoritism. So he did kind of remove himself and backed up a little bit. But as far as I'm concerned, just because he wasn't out in the open doesn't mean he still wasn't doing his thing. Because that's his son.
Right.
Yeah, I honestly believe that he was doing his thing.
Right, because that judge just didn't give you. She didn't give me equal balance, for what was going on in the courtroom, her courtroom. Mm-hmm. And then her face, just told a whole nother story, And I can't even say, I just think it was a bad verdict.
It was awful to me. It was awful. The whole thing to me was awful because to me it came across really as 100% a character assassination. That's how it came across to me.
Yeah.
And the person whose character was being brought down or analyzed on a different level is not here to even defend himself.
Right.
And to me, I still say, I'm not trying to bring race into it, but it is racial. How can you not say it wasn't? Because, again, had it been reversed, this thing would have been over a long time ago.
Okay,
there's no way a black man could have walked in the community. I didn't care how self-appointed he was about anything, and got out of a vehicle with a loaded weapon.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
and went and approached someone about anything. And again, as far as I'm concerned, if somebody's in your neighborhood and you feel a little uncomfortable about it to the point where you have to get out with a gun, maybe you should call 911 and wait for them to show up. I mean, think about it. If I'm that afraid, why would I even get out?
It wasn't even the issue that he broke the law.
He wasn't. It's the idea that the child wasn't doing anything
in the car.
Thank you.
And but not only that though, but with all the criminal background that this boy has, Zimmerman, none of this, the spousal abuse.
It wasn't admissible in court. His domestic violence background,
right,
exactly, wasn't
but
admissible.
But yet they're going to bring hearsay, say, other than a Facebook page
right.
on Trayvon, and it's going to be permissible.
And that's why I say, to me, it was like a character assassination.
Exactly.
But the person they were trying to bring down isn't even here to defend himself. And then the young lady that was on the telephone with Trayvon, during the situation with Zimmerman,
the same.
They broke this girl down to the point I'm like, oh my God. No wonder people don't want to get up and speak up when they have something to say. When they broke this lady down to the point it was young lady because she's not an adult yet.
Mm-hmm.
And let's keep it real. It wasn't just the media. It was everybody. It was awful how they did her. Awful. They analyzed the girl's skin color. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Yeah, her
Her skin color,
her
the
hair.
way she talked, her hair. My thing is, what difference does it make? And
Yeah.
yes, some of my people were doing it too.
Yeah.
Like I say, sometimes we could be our own worst enemy. Just my opinion. It was awful. And then, and from what I recall, they said they had her testify for 7 hours. 7 hours. The whole thing was just jacked up to me. There's no other way to put it.
Really?
I'm not like stressing out about anything, but as a parent of 2 sons, yes, it does concern me. Why wouldn't it? Because you don't want to think that in 2013, even though I'm not that naive, that your young children of any age would go somewhere and end up dead because someone took it upon themselves to decide to take the law into their own hands. And they don't even serve time. I mean, let's keep it. Michael Vick, what did he do? He did god awful thing because I like dogs, but he served some time for dog fighting.
Right.
I mean, not that it's not comparing apples to oranges, but my God, why is this man walking around scot free? I mean, Zimmerman, that's crazy to me. It's the craziest verdict I think I've heard in a while. It's crazy. Bottom line.
It's just like the Pledge of Allegiance is not balanced like it's trying to be when you say it, and it still is a different quota for different people.
Thank you.
Within inside the structure of this society.
Yeah.
And I guess we got a long way to go just yet. And like nothing really have changed. I mean, you could say we shall overcome this, that, and that, and that, and there might have been a few little rights of certain things they gave, but when it comes down to pure D justice, white versus black, there's a problem in this country of us as black people getting, the justice that's due to us and not being sold out because, just like with me, I think that, this whole scenario here, there was deals being made, between the prosecution and the defense. Right. Like all the time they'd be doing in court, they'd be having deals being cut that, hey, we do this way this time, and the next time around you get this favor, However, we don't know what went on behind the scene. In the judge office, the back office, and everything else, but we do know that justice was not served in any manner or form whatsoever with this deal.
I don't think so.
With this verdict.
I don't think so. And as far as I'm concerned, if it is okay for someone to end up dead based on someone racially profiling them, especially someone that doesn't even have the authority to do anything about it, whether you're doing something or not, in this case, the guy wasn't doing anything, then we all got problems. It's not just a black thing.
On the phone with a bag of Skittles and a drink.
There are lots of groups of people in the United States that are racially profiled all the time.
Every day.
Don't fool yourself that it doesn't happen all the time. But I mean, and then to me, it gives some lunatic, some wannabe John Wayne type person free reign to do whatever they want to do. My advice for all the Floridians, might need to get out of Florida. Not a good place to live. No, not a good place to live. But on a more serious note,
but that could happen in any state in the United States because every state, I'm quite sure, in the United States got a similar story when it comes down to black-white verdicts and what's going on. Because I have seen more black people going to jail innocently than I have white, and then luckily through DNA or whatever factor, 15, 20 years later, they come about and find out they was, wrongly charged. But yet then again, they done got most of their life, the prime time of their life have passed them, really, with all these things that are coming up now. So it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah. Well, let's keep it real, though, because, my honest opinion, I used to be naive and think the deals and all that kind of fun stuff were not made unless you're looking at an old Perry Mason movie. But you know what? I don't think that way anymore. Yeah, deals are made in courtrooms every day.
Time.
And the only way I think you're going to really get what I call true justice, especially in a high-profile case in the United States of America, depends on how deep your pockets are and how far your power reaches as far as who you know in the legal system. And that's just my honest opinion. And in this case, I think that's what happened.
It's their game.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. But anyway, it doesn't change the fact that it was wrong. wrong. And I think the NAACP, because like I said, I purposely did not get that deep with it. Because, I just didn't feel like getting ruffled up. I'll be real, I didn't. Doesn't mean I don't care, don't mean I don't have a problem getting active if I have to help, do something. Because from what I think I understand, they do have the option to go back and, go through another legal route. And the NAACP has gotten involved in something through the, help me out here, Motormouth.
I'm not for sure where you're
It's
going.
the
It's
Justice Department.
Yeah,
They're
well,
trying to.
They got federal charges that they could bring down
right,
yet.
Through the Justice Department. On
Racial,
the federal level.
right. Through the about racial profiling.
Yeah, because it is
And,
racial profiling.
mhm.
I mean, there was
And
no
then they
other
got the
reason.
civil suit that they can go on
Right.
and get him.
Right.
Just like they did OJ.
Right.
OJ wasn't found guilty through the murder thing.
And then he had to go back to trial because they filed
right.
another suit. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And I'm quite sure when they go back and file the other suit, they will probably prevail this time around because they would be. I mean, I don't understand why it wasn't closely watched this time with so much attention was brought to the nation about it. But I don't think they would do the same. To me, even to make it be a fair trial, to me they would even have the jury being balanced or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just
Bizarre.
unreal how they walked away. With everything being not guilty.
It was bizarre. And I think a lot of people still kind of, I don't want to say shocked, but just a little stunned, a little
Yeah.
taken aback.
And
They
then
came
the
from
shock-
left field on I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
'cause
No,
I
no
mean-
charge whatsoever.
Because
What?
like even with the TV,
Not even
media,
manslaughter.
right?
What?
Even with the TV media,
Wow.
I thought it was kind of still biased when they were showing the people rallying, about it.
Right.
That I actually seen in the background just as many white people walking and marching about the injustice as I seen black people. But every time they was interviewing somebody, they were black.
Of course.
Right. They could have took some white people opinion as well, because they was there. They was marching, they were protesting of the injustice that was just went down with the verdict. So, even the media, I mean, we got a long way to go to get balance, as a people in this country.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's my opinion. I'm still a little shocked about that. Not shocked, but just disappointed, disheartened, just, I don't know.
And
messed
then,
up.
and then any other time, that's the reason why I say his father had a lot to deal with it. Because, anytime, like Hispanic, is just another name for a black person from a different region of the world. Okay?
Latino.
Yes, Latino. Okay? And to me, any other situation, he would not have been looked at as a white person.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and unless you want to wrap it up, Motormouth, I just wanted to update our opinion about the Martin case. I think Harrison did a long spiel on it yesterday. He was, I listened to a little bit of it. He pretty much came to the same conclusion that we have. It was wrong. And I hope that they do, do another case. Hopefully. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Okay, until next time,
I'm Kaye Dee.
I'm Motormouth, and y'all be safe out there.
Peace and grace.
The Kaye Dee and Motormouth Radio Show on top of the world on WEOM 103.1 FM. On RadioDNANetwork.com. Join the fun on the Kaye Dee and Motormouth Radio Show on RadioDNANetwork.com and WEOM 103.1 FM, Thomasville, North Carolina.